You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoy the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you.
Hi and welcome. I'm really excited today to have a really special guest, Richard Jacobs, who is started a new venture to really help people to get good night's sleep. And I know that sleeping myself, if I'm not having a good night's sleep, then I can feel very irritated, very frustrated. This impacts my relationship. This impacts my sleeping. Of course, this impacts my eating. And so I'm really honored to learn some sleeping tips and some insights from Richard. So Richard, if you'd love to introduce yourself and share a little bit more about what you do.
Sure, thanks, Nicola. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done a number of things throughout the years, working for myself for about 20 years. And then last year, I'm laying there in bed with my wife. We had woken up and I told her, the pillow I'm using, it's collapsed again. I'm tired of this. I'm not sleeping well. And she said, I'll take your pillow if you don't want it. I said, you've had like 10 pillows this past year. Why do you need mine? She says, maybe it'll work better for me because the ones I have, I don't like either. So I said, what they really need to do is make a custom tailored pillow for people. So if you have wide shoulders or a big head, whatever it is, that it suits you, like prescription eyeglasses. And she says, well, why don't you go do that? I said, okay. And that's how the whole project started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So literally a conversation in bed one morning or evening. And
exactly.
It's become a massive area for you. So you've been growing this area now. How has it developed?
I have a team of people overseas. So we started over there making the pillows and actually selling them overseas. And about 2 months ago, we started selling in the U.S., mostly through Facebook and online. So it's working. I mean, we're selling the pillows and, going through that process and creating new pillows and different designs. We created a travel pillow that's custom but smaller. We created a transit pillow for when you sit on airplanes and buses, and these are all custom to the user. So I think it'll make people's travel and sleep and everything a lot better by having customized stuff.
So have you done some research into this then? Like, does it really help people to get, when they have that custom pillow, does it make a huge difference?
Yeah, when I started researching, what I found is that people's airway is only as wide as like a garden hose. So that's 0.6 to 0.8 inches, which is not much. And when it gets kinked or compressed because you're sleeping in a bad position or you have allergies or, let's say you're very heavy set, again, or your bed's not right, it can easily compress that airway and stop you from breathing entirely, which is called sleep apnea, when you choke in your sleep. Or it can certainly restrict it, which worsens snoring. It makes the tissue have to, vibrate to get air past it. When you have a hose and you're watering, if you kink it, you notice the water spurts out faster and makes a noise. Well, same thing if your throat is not open, ideally, you'll more likely to make noise and snore louder. So it helps people that have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, snoring and apnea. Those are the main things.
Wow. And I know that for a lot of the couples that I work with, that snoring is one of the biggest reasons why they started living in separate rooms, sleeping in the separate rooms, and then ended up staying in the separate rooms. And it can be a real issue. And I've had couples, sometimes even a holiday can be a bit of a challenge unless there's an extra spare room within the hotel suite, let's say, for one person to be out of the room because of snoring. So I'm sure it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, I've had that problem myself. When I went on vacation with my family, a couple of years ago, they're joking, "Oh, Daddy snores, Daddy snores," and I said, "Oh no, what are we going to do? I'll have to get like 2 hotel rooms because I don't want to keep them up." So it's embarrassing, it's expensive, and in a home situation, you fear that if your partner is not in the bed with you, chances are you don't have 2 beds that are equally as good. So one gets the couch maybe, and then you're worried. What are they doing on the couch? Are they texting somebody? Are they, who knows? So it can really impact your relationship badly if you don't sleep together. And the stats I've seen is that 25% of all couples don't sleep together. Well, they may start out that way and not finish because one's snoring. And you can guess because of the embarrassment, that's probably underreported. So this affects relationships big time.
Yeah, and there's lots of research to show that it really benefits a couple when they do share a bed because it's that connection. They're breathing in the same way, their heart is beating in the same way. There's a unconscious connection which can be very strong to help a couple stay connected. So and also the people that I've worked with feel terrible that they're keeping their family awake, and they're told unless they want to have a very expensive operation on their nose that may or may not work, or their throat, then that's the only option. So it's great that you've developed this. So how can the listeners find out more about how it works, or how to order them, and how does it work? Does someone send their head measurements, or I'm just curious, how does it all work?
The big premise in making this pillow, I wanted to make it really easy for people to get the pillow and have it be prescription. It's not exactly prescription, but attuned to them. So, when I would buy pillows, I'd go on Amazon and I'd look, they have small, medium, large, firm, soft, or you go to the store and you kind of mush the pillows in your hands. But what's unique here is I created an app where people can just have a picture or 2 taken of themselves. And we use machine vision, AI, to extract their measurements. So the cool thing is you can get the measurements done anywhere someone can take a picture of you. We've gotten pictures from people at work. My dad lives in New York and he was dropping me off at the airport and we were in the drop-off lane and he said, "Oh, you forgot my picture for the pillow." I said, "Oh, we could do it right here." He said, "What, are you crazy?" I said, "Yeah, we could do it. Why not? Just don't get hit by a car, but stand there." And I did his picture. He said, "All right, I love you, bye." Got on the plane and made him a pillow. So I wanted to make it, again, ultra convenient. If you're on the surface of Mars and you can take a picture, that's all we need, and we can do the rest for you.
Wow, that's amazing. Brilliant. And
that part of it is patented. That's the uniqueness of it.
And do they have the same firmness, the same thickness, or how do you determine that? Or is there a standard size that is good for people to have? A standard I don't know, how does that side work?
We make the basic dimensions of the pillow are what you'd see normally. Because, I didn't know this at first, but, women especially would want the pillows to sit on the bed side by side so that they're the width of the mattress. So they're standard sizes, king, queen, etc. But the shape is very different. It's a wedge shape. And the reason why is when you lay on a normal pillow, the weight of your head is about 9-10 pounds. And that compresses a pillow in and the pillow bunches up around your face a bit. These are a wedge, so you sleep on the thick side of the wedge, so the weight of your head makes the pillow flat. Now when you lay on it, it's perfectly flat. And we have interior materials, and the design is such that it doesn't mush up around your face. So it keeps your neck straight when you're a side sleeper or a back sleeper. You pick which one you want. So again, it keeps that neck straight, keeps the airway open, and it's very comfortable. When people lay on it, and we've got it right, they go, "Oh, that's pretty comfortable." And we've had a lot of customers that have fallen asleep faster because they're more comfortable. Their neck pain and stuff almost always goes away because the neck is straight and it's not being strained all night. Some people, again, I can't promise cures, but we actually have recordings of some customers who were nice enough to give us, there's this app called Snore Lab. So we recorded them with and without the pillow. And with the pillow, you could hear the snoring is lessened, and the raspiness or the strength of the snore is reduced as well, which is really cool to hear. I know it sounds weird to be happy about someone snoring less, but listening to these recordings is really cool.
It makes such a difference. So
that's what it's about.
And I know myself, I suffer with the whenever I do feel stressed or tense, it's often because I've had a poor night's sleep, and I know that my pillow isn't quite right, but when I try my other pillows on my bed, they're even worse. So I'm actually putting up with the one that I don't feel, which I know isn't right, but I didn't realise that there were other options. Because when I've gone and brought new pillows, I found them way too thick. So it's like, okay, do I go through the pain of trying to break in a new pillow, or do I just keep with my one that is probably too flat? And so that's the dilemma that I've been in. And now I'm going to definitely check out your site today. So thank you. Great.
Yeah, like I said, it's a simple concept. This is a mechanical fix, but it's a fix that's really been ignored for people. Like I can tell you about the mattress too, just so listeners know. We weighed at 50 people, and we looked and we saw on average their hip area is about 60% of their weight. Their shoulders are like 30%, and the head's 10%. So when you sleep on a mattress, the middle wears first because of the weight, then the shoulder, and then the head. So if anyone listening knows, after a while you're sleeping uphill, and there's usually a dent in the bed. And if two people sleep, they'll fall into the dent together. But at the very least, you'll start sleeping uphill. So any pillow you have, the angle starts changing as the mattress wears. And that's one reason, that and the flattening of the pillow, you'll pretty much never have a pillow that will work for you long term. And if it's not customized to begin with, you're just like guessing to see what works for you,
Yeah. And do you ship them around the world? Is it possible to get them shipped to different locations?
Yeah, we've got customers in overseas near India and Pakistan. We have them in the U.S. We just started getting one or two in Canada. But yeah, we can ship worldwide. There's no problem.
Brilliant. Okay, and what's the website, please?
It's called goodnightssleepproject.com, and nights is plural. So goodnightssleepproject.com.
Brilliant. Well, I'll put a link along with this episode. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else you feel that would be good to share?
Yeah, when we spoke, you wanted me to mention about marriages, which is important because I know you do relationship counseling. Overall, what I've learned is, and you mentioned this already, if you don't feel good, you won't treat the people around you well. You'll be irritable with them. So that means, husband, wife, partner, kids, people at work, whatever. Who wants that? Who wants to have snappy conversations with everyone they know and not be in a good mood? So it's really important to sleep well. Like, people don't realize, they realize, but they don't really think about it. Like, if you haven't slept well, your whole day sucks. But if you sleep well, the whole day is a lot easier. And, everything, like, if you have a marriage that's at the counseling stage and you're not sleeping well, like, you're making it 10 times harder, I think, to get back together. If you're sleeping better, you can have a clear head and make rational decisions. So I think that's important. And then in terms of eating, you wanted me to measure that too, talk about that too, not measure, talk about it. I've noticed myself, I struggle with weight my whole life. When I sleep better, it's much easier to resist, sugary snacks and things that I shouldn't have. It's strange, but I noticed that. And I've also read it in the literature. And it's also easier to eat better. And actually, it's easier to lose weight is what it appears to be. I think just because my body is more rested, so everything works better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally can relate to that. On those days where I've had really poor sleep, then you sort of turn to sugar to keep lifting you up. And really, your body is just needing rest and relaxation. And and you sort of tend to go for those sugary foods just to get you through the day. And then that makes you feel even worse. Yeah,
caffeine, all that stuff, yep.
Yeah. Great. Well, it's been wonderful having you on the show. I'm excited now to go and check it out and order myself one. And thank you very much.
Okay, Nicola, thanks. Good to talk to you.
And you. Bye. Thank you.
You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoy the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you.